Marion Davies was a Golden Age film star whose legacy has been tainted by an affair she had with media mogul William Randolph Hearst. William was the inspiration for the titular character in Orson Welles' Citizen Kane. The film included a character inspired by Marion Davies, and many didn't find it flattering. Join Factsverse as we explore how Marion Davies had more to offer than just her body. Marion Davies was born in Brooklyn, New York, on January 3, 1897. She was the last of 5 children born to her parents. Her father was a lawyer, and her mother tended to the kids. They were encouraged to take their education very seriously. The 5 children were educated in a convent, but Marion decided she wanted to take control of her future early on. She dropped out and ran off to New York as a teen. She began working as a chorus girl on Broadway. In 1916, she was signed on as part of the Broadway series Ziegfeld Follies. It was while performing in the Follies on Broadway that the young and beautiful Marion Davies first caught the attention of media mogul William Randolph Hearst. William was a man who got what he wanted, and he instantly became enamored of the young woman. Marion reciprocated his attention, believing hooking up with William might be the ticket to success. And she might have been right, but becoming successful with the help of Hearst had some devastating caveats. It's undeniable that Hearst played a major role in making Marion a star. Not only did the mogul start up a film studio simply for the purpose of giving her roles, he also made sure all the publications he was in charge of gave both her and the film positive marks when it came time for a review. It was a lot easier to rig the system back in those days, and William was a man who knew how to take full advantage of this. William made Marion a star, but this had caveats. With the help of her new lover, Marion Davies became one of the biggest film stars of the 1920s. However, even at the beginning, there were those who felt the actress's celebrity status was manufactured. The actress simply showed up and became the biggest star on the planet, and her name was plastered all over the media. She went from being a chorus girl to a big-name star overnight, and she had William Randolph Hearst to thank for it. Her association with Hearst proved a blessing and a curse, but the actress also did things to draw negative attention to herself in other ways. She was rumored to have had affairs with several other notable figures, including Charlie Chaplin. But the thing that put the nail in the coffin of Marion's career was Citizen Kane. After her debut on the big screen in the 1920s, Marion was considered a major star for a few decades. But the 1941 release of Citizen Kane damaged the actress's reputation considerably. The film was largely inspired by the life of William Randolph Hearst. It revolved around the character of Charles Foster Kane, who was very similar to William. The film also included a character who was meant to mirror his real-life mistress, Marion Davies. In the eyes of audiences, the film made a joke of Marion, suggesting that she only had a career because of her association with William. Citizen Kane didn't use any real names, but it wasn't hard for audiences to put together just whom the film was supposed to be about. Orson Welles certainly intended for the film to be a damning critique of William Randolph Hearst, but he went to his grave claiming he never intended to criticize Marion Davies. This video is brought to you by Established Titles. Have you ever been interested in being a lord or a lady? With Established Titles, now you can become one. For real. You could officially change your name to Lord or Lady and get it on your credit card, plane tickets, etc. You can even get it on your dating profiles. You can purchase title packs that give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland. With the purchase, you'll receive an official certificate with a crest. Your certificate features a unique plot number with which you can see the exact location of your land. Established Titles told me that the first 200 people purchasing a title pack using my link will effectively be next to my plot within a few minutes of walking. Depending on how many of you want to become a lord or a lady, we can build our little Factsverse kingdom. They plant a tree with every order and work with global charities, One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future, to support global reforestation efforts. It makes an amazing last-minute gift. Established Titles is actually running an early Black Friday sale, plus if you use the code FV10, you get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/FV10 to get your gifts now and help support the channel. Orson Welles felt bad about his impact on Marion. After Marion's death, a posthumous biography was released that featured a foreword from Orson Welles. Given that Orson was the creator and star of the feature that had essentially ended her career, many found his inclusion in the book to be in bad taste, but the late filmmaker had nothing but kind words to say about Marion. It seems Orson wanted to take the opportunity to undo some of the damage he had inadvertently done to the actress's legacy. According to Orson, he never meant to suggest anything negative about her. He believed she was a talented star, and her only problem was her association with William Randolph Hearst. Hearst certainly loomed over all of Marion's great successes. Even if she performed well enough to garner praise from audiences on her own, it was all too obvious that her media mogul boyfriend manufactured the hype behind the star. She grew to be rather self-disparaging by the end, claiming she was never all that much of an actress. According to the late star, she was attracted to the medium of silent film because it masked her lack of talent. But there are numerous people, including Orson Welles, who disagree. Her performances in films like the 1920s comedies Show People and The Patsy are considered some of the best comedic performances of the era. She might have felt helped by the medium of silent film, but she ended up being nearly as much of a star once talkies were introduced as she was during the 20s. Marion overcame a stutter. Marion suffered from a stutter that was never a problem during her silent film days, but it became a big one once sound was introduced. Thankfully, she managed to overcome the stutter and find success in the world of talkies. Most feel the actress had enough talent to warrant her fame even if she was a bit overhyped. There were other things that Hearst did that ended up hurting Marion's career. For one thing, he was particularly brutal when it came to his interactions with other studios. When studios like MGM came knocking on Williams' door to get a piece of the Marion pie, the media mogul shut them down harshly. Getting notable roles with other studios could have helped Marion become a much bigger star, but William Randolph Hearst prevented this from happening. He had made Marion a star, but was intent on keeping her under his wing. Another notable thing about the relationship between Marion and Hearst is the fact that the pair never got married. William was married over the course of their entire relationship. Apparently, Marion wanted him to divorce his wife and marry her, but this wasn't an option for William. William never divorced his wife. William Randolph Hearst's wife eventually found out her husband was cheating with Marion Davies. This put a huge strain on their relationship, but the wife still refused a divorce. Given what we've explored about their relationship, some might think there was no real love involved, but this seems to be far from the case. By all accounts, Marion truly adored Hearst, and the media mogul adored her back. One of the major things that allegedly clued Marion and William to the fact that Citizen Kane was supposed to be about them was that Rosebud was an affectionate pet name Marion had for William's genitalia. This rumor was never substantiated, but one notable person who's claimed this legend to be true is writer Gore Vidal. For the most part, it seems that Marion Davies and William Randolph Hearst took their relationship fairly seriously and were faithful. However, it's been rumored that Marion had other affairs with a few figures. Besides Charlie Chaplin, it's also been alleged that she had an affair with film producer Thomas Ince. Even worse, Marion was rumored to have possibly murdered him. He died of indigestion on a yacht party being thrown by Hearst, and rumors persisted for years that Marion had poisoned the producer. She finally married after William's death. Marion and William remained together until his passing in 1951. Following his death, she found another love interest. Her first and only husband was an actor named Horace G. Brown. They were married from 1951 until her death from stomach cancer a decade later. Now it's time to hear from you. Which part of this story was most surprising to hear about? Let us know in the comments section below.